The Swedish Chef is a Muppet character that appeared on The Muppet Show. He was originally performed by Jim Henson and Frank Oz simultaneously, with Henson performing the head and voice and Oz performing the character's live hands. The Swedish Chef is now performed by Bill Barretta. Character: a parody of television chefs, the Swedish Chef wears a toque blanche and has bushy eyebrows that completely obscure his eyes. He was one of the few Muppets to employ an actual puppeteer's hands, originally Oz's, in the designs that is, they were visible to the audience through his sleeves and facilitated handling food and utensils. Nearly all Swedish Chef sketches on The Muppet Show begin with him in a kitchen, waving some utensils while singing his signature Yodel-esque song in his typical mock Swedish a semi-comprehensible gibberish mimicking Swedish phonology and prosody. The song's lyrics vary slightly from one episode to the next, but always end with "bork, bork, bork," as the chef throws the utensils aside with a clatter that seems to startle him. After this introduction, the chef begins to prepare a recipe while giving a gibberish explanation of what he is doing. His commentary is spiced with the occasional English word to clue in the viewer to what he is attempting. For example, "Orienda smörda frugs legs," or "Jag pöjtthjuchai ken en der bule." These hints are necessary as he frequently uses unorthodox culinary equipment to prepare his dishes. In the pilot episode of The Muppet Show, the chef's commentary was supplemented by Chinese subtitles, but this was abandoned for all other episodes of the series. The sketch typically degenerates into a slapstick finale where the equipment or ingredients get the better of him. In one sketch, a misaimed explosive charge slightly damaged the face of the puppet. The chef's face remains scarred through the rest of the season. The chef is referred to by name in one episode, in which Danny Kaye plays his uncle. Kaye reels off a very long name but adds, "But we call him Tommy," much to the chef's amusement. In 2010, the chef was seen wearing a wedding ring, implying that the character is married. Inspiration: some claim that the Swedish Chef was inspired by a real-life chef. One example is Friedman Paul Ehrart, a German-American television chef known as Chef Tell. Another example is Lars Kuprik Barkarency-Ckman, a real-life Swedish chef. Barkarency-Ckman claims that his rather unsuccessful appearance on an early edition of Good Morning America caught the attention of Jim Henson, who later bought the rights to the recording and created Barkarency-Ckman's Muppet alter ego. Barkarency-Ckman's Dalecarlian accent would explain the chef's strange pronunciation. Muppet writer Jerry Gill denied Barkarency-Ckman's story and insisted the character had no real-world counterpart. "I wrote, rehearsed, rewrote, brainstormed, and giggled uncontrollably 1,000 times with Jim Henson as we dealt with the Swedish Chef, and I never once heard him mention an actual Swedish chef." According to Brian Henson in one of his introductions for The Muppet Show, Jim Henson had this tape that he used to play which was, "How to Speak Mock Swedish." And he used to drive to work and I used to ride with him a lot. And he would drive to work trying to make a chicken sandwich in mock Swedish or make a turkey casserole in mock Swedish. It was the most ridiculous thing you had ever seen. And people at traffic lights used to stop and sort of look at him a little crazy. But that was the roots of the character that would eventually become the Swedish Chef. Reaction from Swedes: Swedes generally have a negative impression of the Swedish Chef stemming from the fact that, to Swedes, his gibberish speech sounds very little like Swedish. The sing-song quality of the character's mock language is suggestive of Norwegian, not Swedish, although the two languages are closely related. Outside of Sweden, Swedes are often asked about the Swedish Chef, causing many to become tired of the question. Appearances: besides appearances in The Muppet Show, the chef also appears in The Muppet Movie, The Great Muppet Caper, The Muppets Take Manhattan, At the Muppets, A Celebration of 30 Years, A Muppet Family Christmas, Muppet Vision 3D, an attraction found at several Disney parks, The Muppet Christmas Carol, Muppet Treasure Island, Muppets from Space, It's a Very Merry Muppet Christmas Movie, Studio DC, Almost Live, a sketch for the cast of The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody and an episode with Hannah Montana star Jason Earls and Cory in the House's Jason Dolly, The Popcorn, The Muppets. and Muppets Most Wanted. In popular culture, the Swedish Chef has been impersonated on Saturday Night Live by Andy Samberg. The Swedish Chef appeared in Robot Chicken episode Federated Resources voiced by Victor Jerrod. The Swedish Chef's song has been humorously misconstrued as a scathing editorial against former Supreme Court nominee Robert Bork by Stephen Colbert's political commentator character on The Colbert Report. The interface of a Google can be viewed in several different languages by choosing a setting in its preferences, one of them being Bork, Bork, Bork. Several video games, such as Guild Wars, have a Bork, Bork, Bork language setting. The Swedish Chef appears in The Simpsons episode The Food Wife voiced by Dan Castellaneta. He is seen in Marge's dream. When they agree that everything's more fun with Homer, the chef sings in mock Swedish about Homer. A roller derby skater for the Windy City Rollers from Chicago uses Bork 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 as her skater name in competition, and uses it as a tribute to her childhood as a fan of the Muppets. He appears in a 2013 ESPN SportsCenter commercial with the Swedish-born New York Rangers goaltender Henrik Lundqvist, who understands the chef perfectly and translates for others in the cafeteria line. The chef then gets angry with a patron, ESPN's Linda Cohn, who does not order what he is making. Vancouver Canucks Swedish goaltender Eddie Lack has an image of the Swedish Chef on the back of his goalie mask. See also: Paragraph on cheese stars, Jai filter, Swedish cuisine, references. External links: Bork, Bork, Bork. Mozilla Firefox add-on, translate pages to Bork and Bork unwanted things. Google Bork. 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 Interface: Swedish Chef Calculator iOS app.